Imagine this. It's a holiday dinner.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, you are sitting in the grand dining room of this old, maybe slightly drafty English mansion.
I can picture it.
The ambiance is just perfect until you realize your well-meaning aunt is standing directly over your shoulder.
Right, wielding a massive serving spoon.
Exactly. A huge silver spoon. And she is actively trying to force a third, totally heaping portion of a very heavy, very rich mayonnaise potato salad onto your plate.
The worst.
Right. And you've been hitting the gym all week. You were trying to feel good in your holiday outfit, and honestly, you are already completely stuffed.
You're at capacity.
So what is your move? How do you refuse this terrifyingly generous offer without deeply offending her or, ruining the entire holiday mood?
Or getting abruptly written out of the will.
Exactly. It is the ultimate social trap.
It really is. You find yourself pinned between preserving your own personal boundaries and managing the crushing weight of social expectation.
It's a universal feeling.
Completely. And the underlying psychology driving that panic is surprisingly primal.
Well, that panic is exactly what we are dissecting today. Welcome to today's deep dive.
We have a great one today.
We really do. We are looking at a fascinating stack of sources that span completely different worlds.
Yeah, it's a wild mix.
We've got corporate negotiation strategies, recruitment guides from places like Michael Page, dating app protocols straight from Bumble.
Right, and even linguistic breakdowns from Russian language learning platforms like Haber and Lifehacker.
So our mission today, to help you master the delicate, highly psychological, and often very stressful art of saying no politely in English.
Without carrying that lingering sense of guilt.
Because the guilt is the hardest part.
It really is. But before we jump into the tactics of refusal, we really need to look at the research from BetterUp.
Right, to understand why the simple act of saying the word no causes such a visceral reaction in your body.
Yeah, it goes far beyond just wanting to be a nice person. This goes all the way back to our evolutionary wiring.
Like caveman days.
Literally. For early humans, being rejected by the tribe meant literal death.
Oh.
So we have this ingrained, deep-seated fear that causing social friction will lead to our isolation.
So we say yes because our brain conflates agreement with survival.
Exactly. We think saying yes makes us indispensable.
But the BetterUp source highlights the massive flaw in that evolutionary logic for the modern world.
Right, because things have changed.
Yeah, saying yes to absolutely everything doesn't make you a superhero or even a vital member of the tribe.
No, it just accelerates your path to burnout.
You stretch your resources so incredibly thin that your cognitive function actually suffers.
Your mental health declines.
And ironically, the actual quality of the work or the relationships you were trying to protect ends up dropping significantly.
Because if you lack the ability to say no, your yes essentially loses all of its value.
There is such a good point.
It ceases to be a genuine commitment. It just becomes nothing more than an involuntary reflex.
You are no longer making choices.
Right, you are just reacting to pressure.
That makes perfect sense. So to start taking back that control, we should probably look at the foundational tools we use to communicate refusal.
The basic building blocks.
Yeah. The YouTube source from Words and Meanings Explained breaks down the actual mechanics of polite English.
Specifically this concept called hedging.
Right, hedging. Now, my immediate thought goes to landscaping, but I'm assuming we aren't talking about trimming bushes today.
No, not quite. Hedging in linguistics is essentially installing a shock absorber onto your sentences.
A shock absorber, I like that.
Yeah, because English, particularly in polite or professional contexts, has evolved to rely heavily on specific structures that diffuse aggression.
Okay, so give me an example.
Well, if someone states a fact that you know is incorrect, the most direct refusal is simply, "You are wrong."
Very blunt.
Extremely. And neurologically, blunt language like that triggers the listener's amygdala.
Their fight or flight response.
Exactly. It registers as a verbal attack, putting them immediately on the defensive.
So hedging is about bypassing the brain's threat detection system.
You are softening the blow so they can actually hear the correction without their ego getting involved.
Okay, let's unpack this. How do we actually do that?
You are injecting a calculated amount of doubt into the statement.
Doubt.
Yeah, so instead of saying you are wrong, you employ modal verbs like could, might, or would.
Oh.
Or you use downgraders like a little or somewhat, so you say, I think you might be mistaken.
Right, I think you might be mistaken.
You aren't actually doubting yourself. You are using the appearance of doubt as a social lubricant to foster a better dynamic.
Let's apply that to a real-world scenario because the source from Lifehacker brings up some brilliant idioms that illustrate this perfectly.
They do, yeah.
And Lifehacker is uniquely positioned as a guide for Russian speakers trying to decode the mysteries of English politeness.
Which is such an interesting perspective.
It really is. And they highlight the phrase, taking a rain check.
Ah, a staple of polite refusal. Can I take a rain check?
The history behind it is completely fascinating. Lifehacker explains that it originates from American baseball decades ago. If a game was interrupted by a torrential downpour, the stadium wouldn't just send everyone home angry.
That would be bad for business.
Exactly. So they would hand the fans a physical paper ticket, a literal rain check, that entitled them to come back and watch a future game for free.
And bringing that into a conversational context is just a masterful social move.
How so?
Because if someone invites you to dinner and you ask for a rain check, you are accomplishing two contradictory things simultaneously.
You are declining, but keeping the door open.
Exactly. You are successfully declining the immediate offer, but you are actively signaling that your interest in the relationship remains high.
It removes the sting of rejection by promising future engagement.
Right, it's very elegant.
But I want to pause here and challenge one of the tactics brought up by the other source, Haber.
Okay, let's hear it.
They advocate heavily for what they call the no plus compliment rule.
The classic sandwich.
Yeah, so if we go back to our drafty dining room with Aunt Bernadette, Hobbes suggests saying something like, "Your cooking is always so incredible, Aunt Bernadette. It kills me to pass on this salad, but I simply can't."
Seems polite enough.
But wait, if my aunt knows I am on a strict diet, or worse, if she knows I actively despise mayonnaise, doesn't layering a compliment on top of a refusal just make me sound manipulative?
You mean, does it sound fake?
Yeah. Are we just lying to keep the peace?
It is easy to view it as fake politeness, sure, but the compliment isn't actually about the mayonnaise salad.
It's not.
No, it is a vital tool for preserving the equity of your relationship.
Okay, explain that.
Every time you refuse an offer, no matter how small, you are delivering a micro-rejection. And the human brain hates rejection.
Right, we established that with the caveman logic.
Exactly. So the compliment functions as a relational buffer. It explicitly reassures your aunt that your refusal is based entirely on your own internal limitations.
Like my diet.
Right, your diet or your capacity, and it is absolutely not a negative judgment on her hospitality or her worth as a host.
So it's less about the food and more about saying, I still value you, even though I am rejecting this specific interaction.
Precisely that. And Had contrasts the compliment with another highly effective social strategy.
What's that one?
Making yourself the undeniable problem. They call it the point out your own inconvenience tactic.
Point out your own inconvenience.
Imagine your very adventurous friends invite you to go outdoor rock climbing.
Oh, absolutely not.
Right, but you don't say, no, rock climbing is dangerous and boring.
No, that would be insulting their hobby.
Exactly. Instead, you say, rock climbing isn't for me. I have to confess I have a paralyzing fear of heights.
I love the mechanics of that.
Yeah.
Completely shift the target.
Yep.
You aren't rejecting their hobby, you are revealing a personal vulnerability.
Their idea is great, but you are physically or emotionally incapable of participating.
You give them a reason that they cannot possibly argue with or feel insulted by.
Which works beautifully in a social setting.
Right, with friends and aunts.
However, we have to acknowledge that these rules undergo a massive shift when you leave the dining room and enter the boardroom.
That is the perfect pivot. Because revealing your deep personal flaws or over-explaining your diet might save a friendship, but bringing that energy to your boss seems incredibly risky.
It's a terrible idea.
What happens when the stakes are your salary or your career trajectory?
In the professional sphere, oversharing personal details often undermines your authority.
You don't want to sound weak.
Right. And this is where the sources from Srimurthy and BetterUp introduce the immense power of the capacity or bandwidth argument.
Bandwidth, that is one of those words that floods every corporate inbox.
All right.
But you're saying it actually serves a crucial psychological function.
It is the ultimate professional boundary. Srimurthy highlights phrases like, I don't have the capacity to give this project the attention it truly deserves.
Or my bandwidth is currently fully allocated.
Exactly. What makes this so effective is that it frames your refusal as an act of dedication.
Oh, that's clever.
Ah.
You aren't saying you are too lazy to do the work.
No.
And you aren't saying the project is beneath you. You are communicating, I am so fiercely protective of the quality of my current work that I refuse to take on something new and do a mediocre job.
It actually makes you look more professional.
It really does.
It signals high competence. And Murthy also recommends pairing the bandwidth argument with the helpful suggestion pivot.
How does that work?
You decline the request but maintain your value to the team by offering an alternative pathway.
Like pointing them to someone else.
Right. You
Yeah.
say, I am not the best fit to lead this, but perhaps my colleague in marketing has the specific expertise you need.
Okay, but let's escalate the stakes even higher. What about rejecting an actual job offer?
The highest professional stakes.
Yeah, we have a comprehensive guide from the recruitment agency, Michael Page. And their formula for turning down a job is super rigid.
Very strict rules there.
They say you must make the decision promptly, express gratitude for their time, provide a brief, non-specific reason, and close positively.
The phrase non-specific reason is the linchpin of that entire strategy.
And this is where I notice the sources seemingly contradict each other in a major way.
How so?
Earlier, the HAB source explicitly told us that in social settings, we should explain in detail to soften the blow.
Right, like saying I have to coach my son's Little League game.
Because detail builds empathy. But Michael Page aggressively warns you to remain vague when turning down a job.
Yes, they do.
They suggest the classic, "This position does not align with my current career goals." Why the whiplash? Why is specificity a virtue in your living room, but a hazard in an HR office?
It really comes down to understanding the fundamental difference between social dynamics and commercial negotiations.
Okay, break that down for me.
In your living room, specificity builds empathy because your friends aren't trying to optimize you.
They aren't trying to counteroffer.
Exactly. But in business, over-explaining transforms a boundary into the opening bid of a negotiation.
Oh, I see where this is going. If I tell a hiring manager, I am turning down the job because the salary is $10,000 too low and the commute is an hour long.
You haven't actually said no.
I have just handed them my terms and conditions.
You have given them a puzzle to solve. They might immediately counter with, we can bump the salary by $10,000 and offer you remote work 3 days a week.
And if my secret, real reason was that I just thought the company culture seemed totally toxic, I am now completely trapped.
You played your hand badly.
Yeah, I gave them specific logistical complaints, they magically solved them, and now if I still refuse, I look irrational and unprofessional.
Precisely. Saying it doesn't align with my current goals is the ultimate professional shield.
It's polite, firm, and impenetrable.
A hiring manager cannot negotiate against a vague internal feeling of misalignment.
Right.
Providing a laundry list of specific grievances, especially if they involve criticizing the team, only serves to burn bridges you might need to cross later in your career.
So specificity invites negotiation, and vagueness shuts it down.
That's the rule of thumb.
But let's look at a scenario where you actually want them to negotiate.
Okay, shifting gears.
We all know the standard corporate compliment sandwich. You hide the bad news between 2 slices of vague praise.
So everyone knows that one.
But the source material, highlighting Dave Barr's analysis of William Ury's positive no framework, completely flips that old cliche on its head.
Yeah, it really does.
This is used in high-stakes commercial negotiations and dispute resolution, and it operates on a yes-no-yes structure.
Ury's framework is brilliant because it recognizes that a no in business shouldn't be a wall. It should be a pivot.
But it requires immense discipline to execute.
It does. It takes practice.
Walk me through it. Let's say a software vendor comes to my company and says they are raising our subscription price by 40% next year.
Ouch.
Yeah. How do I apply the yes-no-yes pivot?
Step 1 is the first yes, but it is not a yes to their price hike.
Obviously.
It is an internal affirmation of your own core values and the objective standards you operate under. Before you address their demand, you ground the conversation in principle. You would say something like, we are highly committed to maintaining long-term vendor relationships that are built on predictable, fair, and mutually beneficial pricing.
I am laying the foundation.
Yeah.
I am saying yes to fairness and predictability, which implicitly highlights that their 40% hike is neither of those things.
Exactly. And that sets up step 2 perfectly, which is the no.
Which has to be clear.
It must be assertive, clear, and directly linked to the value you just established. No hedging here.
No modal verbs.
Right. You say a 40% unexpected price increase is unacceptable because it violates our need for budget predictability.
So if step 1 is setting the standard, and step 2 is rejecting their violation of that standard, I'm assuming step 3 is the pivot back to a workable solution.
You nailed it. Step 3 is the second yes, but it's a yes with a question mark. You propose a positive alternative that brings the negotiation back into alignment with your values. You offer a counterproposal.
Like what?
You say, however, we would be willing to agree to a standard 5% inflationary increase in exchange for signing a longer 3-year contract. Does that sound like a path forward?
That is incredibly
It
strategic.
completely changes the dynamic.
The no isn't the end of the conversation. It is the mechanism you use to clear away the bad deal so you can build a better one.
You are protecting your boundaries while keeping the relationship alive.
It moves the negotiation from a hostile standoff into collaborative problem solving.
Exactly.
But as we move to our final source from Bumble, we have to recognize that using Erie's business framework in the world of online dating would be nothing short of a disaster.
A total catastrophe.
Imagine treating a first date like a vendor negotiation.
It would not go well.
No. In the realm of dating, Bumble provides a very different structural requirement. Their formula is acknowledge, unequivocal no, gracious send-off.
Very clean.
So step 1, you acknowledge the vulnerability it took to ask. That is very flattering. Thank you for reaching out.
Step 2, the unequivocal no.
However, I am not interested in pursuing this.
And step 3, the gracious send-off. I appreciate your boldness, and I wish you the best.
The most glaring difference between that and the business framework is what is deliberately left out.
There is absolutely no counterproposal.
There is no second.
Yeah.
Yes, you aren't saying, I won't go out with you, but I will sign a 3-year contract to be pen pals.
No, exactly. But Bumble goes a step further with their strictest warning. Do not make excuses.
Which completely subverts the social advice we discussed earlier with the Little League game.
It does. In dating, if you try to soften the blow by saying, I'm just really busy with work right now, or I'm focusing on myself this month, you might think you are being a kind, empathetic person.
But you're actually not. Let's dive into the psychology of that, because why does an excuse backfire so terribly in romance?
It creates massive cognitive dissonance. As we established, the human ego is terrified of rejection.
Right.
When you offer an excuse like I'm too busy, their brain grabs onto that as a lifeline. They do not process it as a rejection of their core self.
They process it as a temporary logistical hurdle.
Yes, you have inadvertently gamified the interaction.
They hear, I am too busy this week. So their logical conclusion is, great, I'll just follow up next week when your schedule clears.
You haven't rejected them, you have just put them on a wait list.
That is so dangerous.
You are providing false hope, which ultimately leads to a much harsher, more painful confrontation later down the line.
So in dating, honesty, delivered without excessive justification, is the most compassionate policy.
Bumble is explicit. If the person refuses to accept the initial no and pushes back, you must immediately escalate to firm boundaries.
You do not explain further.
No. You say, I have made my position clear. Please respect my decision.
Because you cannot negotiate with someone over your own personal safety or romantic autonomy.
Never.
If I can synthesize these different worlds we've explored, in a commercial deal, a no is essentially a stepping stone.
Right. It is a tool to carve out a better yes.
You're building a path forward. But in dating, a no needs to be a solid brick wall.
A brick wall.
Giving a polite excuse in the dating world is like leaving a spare key under your welcome mat, when what you actually need to do is change the locks entirely.
That analogy captures the essence of it perfectly. A boundary is only effective if it is unmistakable, and leaving room for misinterpretation only invites boundary violations.
So we have covered a massive amount of ground today. We have looked at the neuroscience of linguistic hedging,
The corporate armor of the bandwidth argument,
the strategic pivot of the positive no.
and the brick wall boundaries required in modern dating.
How do we tie all of these seemingly disparate strategies together for you, the listener?
To find the common thread, we have to return to the core insight from Better Up that we started with.
Right.
Mastering the architecture of refusal. Whether you are carefully deploying softeners with your and over a holiday meal, citing capacity constraints with your demanding boss, or being uncomfortably direct on a dating app, it is not merely about avoiding awkward conversations.
No.
It is a fundamental, non-negotiable act of self-care.
It is the mechanism by which you protect your energy.
Setting and enforcing these boundaries is what prevents burnout. It is the shield that protects your mental and physical health.
And counterintuitively, becoming comfortable with the word no is what guarantees you produce higher quality work.
And cultivate healthier, more authentic relationships. Acknowledging and honoring your own limitations isn't a weakness. It is an act of profound self-awareness.
It acts as a filter for your life, ensuring that what makes it through actually matters.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the psychology and the strategy of refusal. We hope you walk away equipped with a few new linguistic tools to protect your time, guard your sanity, and confidently navigate whatever high-stakes negotiations or terrifying mayonnaise salads come your way.
But before we officially sign off, I want to leave you with one final lingering thought to explore on your own.
Go for it.
We have spent this entire deep dive analyzing the mechanics of refusal and worrying about how other people might react to our boundaries. But if you actually master the courage to clear your schedule, to ruthlessly cut away the obligations, the toxic projects, and the draining social events you genuinely do not want to attend, what incredible life-changing things will you finally have the time, the energy, and the absolute freedom to say yes to?
See you in the next episode. Goodbye.